Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the 2025 first annual Marvel Movie Awards. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining me on this fine adventure through just the greatness of movies and film and TV that was 2025. There's a lot of categories in this video I'm going to be doing. We'll go over them one by one. I'm going to make a couple of little announcements here first. There's two awards that will be called Best Legacy Movie and Best Legacy Series that will not be taking place in 2025, but I thought it'd be interesting to add those in considering it's stuff that I've watched this year that came out in previous years that I've never seen before. And, you know, it allows me to give them a little bit of an extra oomph. But also, for all the categories in this video, I will be talking about the movie plot. So if you do see a movie on here that you do want to see or don't want spoiled, just skip over to the next section of the video, which should be labeled on the timestamps down below. But anyways, let's get the Marvel Movie Awards 2025 underway, baby. All right, to start off the Marvel Movie Awards in 2025, we have the award for Best Drama Movie, and it goes to The Smashing Machine.
Well, have you ever heard of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, the UFC?
That's the bloody thing they're trying to ban.
Do you have any stronger pain medication?
This guy is the best he has ever seen.
Hey, Don, can you take this picture for us?
Yeah.
Winning is the best feeling there is. It's 40,000 people,
Yeah.
and they're cheering you on. There's no other high like it in the world.
Wasting my whole fucking life on you. Look what it's gonna be.
Please welcome in his Octagon debut, Mark Kerr!
Now, The Smashing Machine is a biopic based on the real-life events and life of Mark Kerr, the Smashing Machine. That was his nickname. He was an MMA fighter big in the 90s, and it kind of goes into his own personal struggles with, you know, drugs and everything, trying to compete with just the whole landscape of MMA within the 90s, and his also rise through the MMA ranks as well within the 90s. And man, I gotta give it its flowers. I know a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people say Dwayne Johnson can't act, which most of the time I agree. He plays the same character in like every fucking movie. I completely understand that. But I saw this, it was a different role for him, and I was like, you know what, Dwayne, let's give you another shot, see if you can actually go. You know what I mean? And man, can he. Let me tell you something. This movie is incredible, but it just shows all the conversations and all the arguments and all the emotion that they have from his, you know, downward spiral into his demons, which is basically drugs, all the painkillers and everything he puts himself on to be able to compete inside of the MMA. The actual effects that it has on not just him, but his wife Dawn, who is played by Emily Blunt in this movie as well. Amazing job by her, by the way, but it's Emily Blunt. We know she was going to do good. No, it's just the fact that Dwayne Johnson is able, after all these years, after all, you know, after all the stuff came out saying he plays the same guy, he plays the same character over and over and over again. You know what I mean? It's good. It's a good, refreshing, like, breathe the fresh air is the best way that I can put it, that he's actually able, he still has acting chops and he's able to do something that isn't just big muscle guy in the forest, you know what I mean? But yeah, it just everything about this movie, from the way that it's shot, from the scenes that it shows you, the points that it shoes you, everything that, like, all the subtleties to it. Like that one scene of whenever Mark is taking that picture with his trainer and with another guy that he fought, and he just did some painkillers, and he tells Dawn, his wife, to take the picture, and when she does, she takes it and she turns around and wipes a tear away. Like, just stuff like that really just kind of sells it for this. And then just, you could cut the tension in the room with a knife. I went and saw this with one of my friends, and when me and her both watched it, dude, I'm telling you, usually we're not some of those assholes in the movie that like talk throughout the whole fucking movie, but like during certain moments we'll lean over and whisper some stuff to each other. And during this movie, we didn't say a word to each other after like the first 20-30 minutes. Like, it was just, you had to have your eyes on the screen, make sure you didn't miss anything. And I can't recommend it enough. Honestly, I am kind of upset that the first time Dwayne Johnson has had a movie where he's actually doing good as an actor, it flops, because now you know he's never going to do that shit again. But yeah, this year, 2025 winner for Best Drama, The Smashing Machine. And after that, we are going to go on to our next award, which is Best TV Series. Now, there was a couple of different picks I had this year. There was It, Welcome to Derry, which, by the way, amazing, right? It just finished last week. It was an incredible show. Can't recommend it enough. But I am a little bit biased. Here. I can't lie. And the winner of the 2025 Best TV Series Award goes to Peacemaker Season 2, baby. Now, excluding my bias to John Cena, because I'm a big wrestling guy, you can see the shirts and the skateboard and stuff in the background over here. Just excluding that, right? I cannot express to you the amount of love I can feel for this character and the universe from James Gunn whenever I watch anything he does DC related. Like, the first season of Peacemaker was really good as well. Like, I remember watching it. I was just gonna watch it because I was like, oh dude, it's James Gunn, I like him as a director, and I like John Cena, I'll give it a watch, see if it's any good. Man, was it good. And then I heard they were doing a season 2, which was in the new DCU with like Superman and all that stuff, and man, it was so good. It was so good. Immediately from the start, where they retconned the Justice League being there from the final scene in Peacemaker Season 1 to being the Justice Gang from Superman, I knew we were onto something great here. I knew we were. The character development within the show of both Chris, John Cena's character, Peacemaker himself, Harcourt, Amelia Harcourt, like just all the character growth in this show, of this season of this show, was incredible. Even down to Adebayo. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand she's like Chris's best friend and everything, but like her character development went crazy. Her figuring out what she wants to do with her life after the CIA stuff. Her coming to terms with the fact that her relationship is over and how she has to cherish the relationships that she has. The fact that, like with Chris, for example, the fact that he was so mentally distraught, having a whole realization of who he is and what he is, even if it was wrong, like that's what he thought he was. He thought he was, what did he call it in the show? An angel of death, because he thinks everything around him, he fucks up, he kills people, like everything around him just goes to shit. Just the whole plot of the season being like, sometimes he's in Dimension X, sometimes he's in his own dimension, and in Dimension X, his dad and his brother are alive. And he thinks it's the perfect universe until, you know, some questionable things pop up on screen, which I can't show you on YouTube. But yeah, no, just if you haven't watched it enough, or if you haven't watched it, I can't recommend it enough. Just the whole series of Peacemaker 1 and 2, but specifically for this one, Peacemaker Season 2 was incredible. Like, I have no other words to describe it. It was awesome. And now we are on to Best Animated Series. Now, there was a couple of different ones for this one as well that I was stirring around in my head. There was Fiona and Cake Season 2, which still hasn't finished, which might be a little bit of the reason why I didn't choose it. It's up to episode 9 right now, but Fiona and Cake Season 2 is really good. But the actual award for Best Animated Series for 2025 goes to You know, with Invincible Season 3, I loved the first season and the second season. I remember distinctly back when the first season came out, me and one of my buddies, Jared, we watched it literally on a vacation trip, just randomly. I was like, do you want to watch this? And he was like, yeah. We both watched it, thought it was great. Season 2 came out, I watched it immediately when it first came out. I was so stoked for it. And then Season 3 came out, and don't get me wrong, I was still stoked for it. I just never got around to watching it until about a couple months ago. And man, when I got around to watching it, I understood what I was missing. Like, this show is incredible. This season of the show might honestly be the best season of the show. Like, don't get me wrong, Season 1 was like establishing everything and the whole like plot for the series, basically. But Season 3, God, it was incredible. Just the tension of the plot, like the tension of Mark trying to like realize who he is. He's not working He's not going to work with this like corrupt organization with Cecil, who his real friends are. Like what he's able to do, his own personal limits. Like the amount of character development Mark got in this season of the show is incredible. Him finally getting the balls to ask Adam Eve out. Now them both having a connection with each other, which fuels the other in terms of battles. When the other gets hurt, the other gets angry, blah blah blah, etc., etc. But just the whole development of this season of this show as a whole was incredible. The ways that Mark grew as a character in this season, his power increases, his training that he did, his maturity, him having to practically be an older brother / dad to his younger brother Oliver now, him trying to be the one to explain how powers work instead of being the one explained to how they work. But even down to the side characters in this show, like for example Powerplex, voiced by Aaron Paul. Incredible character, incredibly rounded character with a good backstory and a reasoning to hate Mark. Like, and he is one of the big proponents of this season as to like the issues Mark is having with himself and the issues that some people have with Mark being here. Some people don't see him as a hero. Some people see him as just a killing machine, something that like they don't care about the collateral damage that he causes when he goes into these fights and has to protect the majority of people. But what they don't realize is everybody can't survive in these attacks. Mark does everything he possibly can to make it to where that doesn't have to happen. And he doesn't want to kill people. He tries to tell Oliver, don't kill people. Like he doesn't want to do that, you know, on some Spider-Man shit. But he realizes there is instances like with Conquest or with Angstrom Levy, sorry. Just all of those people, some people have to be killed. But unfortunately, at the end of the season, after that huge fight with Conquest where Mark just absolutely went full on tweaker mode and just beat the ever-loving dog shit out of him, it shows at the very end that he's not dead and Cecil's keeping him in containment, which, you know, can only be a good thing, right? But yes, if you haven't watched it, Invincible season 3, go watch it. My TV series of the year right there. But on to the next award. The next award is for Best Anime of the Year. Not movie or anything, best anime. Now, it's kind of a basic pick. I didn't watch too much anime this year, I can't lie to you. Most of the stuff that I just watched was Jujutsu Kaisen, the new movie, rewatched season 1 and 2. Honestly, was that really it this year? I kind of slacked on some anime this year, I can't lie. But this year, for best anime of 2025, goes to Dandadan season 2. 'Now, when it comes to Dandadan, I understand a lot of people are just like, ew, it's weird. There's a lot of weird stuff in it. Like, it's just not for me. But let me tell you, I love the weird shit. I love the out there plots that have like barely make any sense. Like, I love the out there plots of like, you know, aliens, ghosts. Like, I love the supernatural vibe that it brings, and it's a good mix of the supernatural adventure and the humorous moments, just all the connections between the characters, the relationship between Momo and Okarun getting stronger, which you can clearly tell that they're catching feelings for each other, and eventually they do kind of get together a little bit, not like fully confirmed by the two, but you know, they obviously have feelings for each other. Also, just the character development of Ira and Gigi as well. I love how they're training Evil Eye within Gigi to be helpful within the series. They're like, yeah, you can only fight me like once every week, and me being Okarun with the powers of Turbo Granny. But I love the little rivalry that they have going on. I love that Evil Eye thinks that, you know, it's a game, and Okarun's treating it as such because that's what he thinks it is. He feels for Evil Eye. Even Granny Psycho, man, she's incredible. And obviously you can't not mention the scene where they try to exorcise Evil Eye and they bring the fucking band out. But even then, my fucking goat Kento was introduced this season. You can't just slide over the goat, bro. He is the goat. He's the reason that they ended up winning the fight against the kaiju monster. He just is. If he didn't practically spawn in that Gundam robot to fight, they were cooked. It was wraps. Kento's my fucking goat. If you haven't watched it and you're into some weird shit, if you can't get over the weirdness of it, I get it. I completely get it. It's not meant for everybody. But for me personally, my anime of the year, Dandadan season 2. And now on to the last animated award of the night. We have Best Animated Movie. Now, I was a little bit of a hater of this when it first came out because I wasn't too interested in the type of music. I don't like K-pop, and I don't like musical movies that often. I'm one of the people where I'm like, musicals should stick to the stage. I think they should be in plays, that kind of stuff. I don't think that they should be movies, but you know, there is a couple outliers every now and again that slip through the cracks that just work for me. And one of those movies that came through for me just so happened to be the best animated movie of the year in 2025 for me, and that movie is K-pop Demon Hunters. Now, like I said, I did initially hate on K-pop Demon Hunters. I was like, dude, it's a musical. I don't like musicals in movies. I don't like K-pop music that much. I'm not really that big into it, you know? Kind of hated on it a bit. Thought it was a little bit dumb. But one day I got some spare time and I was like, you know what? Let's watch this. Let me not be a sheep and just hate on it because I haven't seen it and it sounds stupid. Let me form my own opinion on it, which I encourage all of you to do. I was so surprised. This movie was incredible. Like, first off, the animation style, I didn't know it was by Sony, and they're doing like, you know, the kind of Spider-Verse style animation, which is now kind of their signature style, I would think, especially after this. Also, just a fun little fact before I get into the little bit of a synopsis I'm going to do. I love the fact that Sony sold this movie to Netflix for like, I think it was like $5 or $6 million because they thought it would be a flop, and it turned out to be the highest charting. Well, not high. Well, it did reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, like Golden did, but they didn't realize the global phenomenon that this would be, and I love that. That's so funny. No, it's just, but like, you could just feel the connection between the three main characters, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. Like you could just feel the connection between them, how much they really do care for each other, and they each do like have different character archetypes, like that blend together really well, you know. Rumi is obviously like the lead, the main character of the movie, and she's like the one that has some insecurities about like the fact that she is, spoiler alert here, part demon, and she's hiding that from Mira and Zoe. And you know, Mira is kind of like the edgy type of girl, you know, like doesn't really talk that much, like is that kind of stuff. And Zoe's just the outgoing, lovable character. Like you can't not love Zoe. She's incredible. She's goofy, she's funny, and honestly might just be my favorite character in the movie. I can't lie, at least from the main three girls. But yeah, just the plot, like I love the uniqueness of the plot, the fact that they are a K-pop music group, and they're called Huntrix, and the reason is because they're trying to seal all the demons away with the Golden Hanmoon. And apparently it's been like a time tradition all throughout time. There's always been a group of demon hunters that has done music related demon hunting, and it shows a couple of the different groups throughout time. And they're finally going to be able to set the Golden Hanmoon, which is going to permanently seal them away. And then as they're trying to, like, it pans back to the demons, and they're trying to figure out a way, how can we not be sealed forever? But then it pans down to the underworld where the demons live, and the main demon, he is trying to figure out a way where we can actually get up there and not be the demons can get up there and not be fully sealed away forever. And then that's when this one group of demons pulls up and says, hey, why don't we fight them with their own game? Why don't we become a K-pop group as well? Thus we get the Saja Boys. And I can't lie, man, they do their thing up there. They're stealing the attention, and it keeps, like, they're stealing the attention away from the K-pop, like they're stealing the attention away from Huntrix. They're increasing their like pull within the soul of these people, and the people are just none the wiser. They don't even know. And you know, at first they kind of come off as douchey, you know, obviously because they're demons trying to make it to where they're not permanently sealed in the underworld, and they're kind of rude to all of them. Stay kind of rude, and I say kind of, I mean they straight up just hate them, because I mean they're demon hunters, but they try to keep it somewhat calm because they can't make it outwardly obvious or people will hate them for it. But Jinu, him and Rumi kind of develop a little bit of a connection. You know, where she's part demon, she kind of understands him a little bit more, and they have this whole like arc with each other where they're like, should we, like, Jinu can help us, you can help us seal them away, you can be redeemed for all the things that you did in the past that really just made you the demon that you are. And just, I mean, obviously you just can't not mention this movie without talking about the music. I mean, there's multiple songs I've added to my playlist, but dude, fucking listen to this shit, dude.
In your mind now, too late, 'cause you're
That's how it really be making me feel, man. The music is so good. I've added like 2 or 3 songs from the movie to my playlist to this day. It's incredible. But it's just also the acceptance of the characters accepting themselves for what they are, the other characters accepting what their friends are within the movie. I just feel like the whole thing with this movie is just connection, finding yourself, being the best you can be, and just coming together. And I really do rock with that. So the best animated movie of the year, K-Pop Demon Hunters. Now, this one is kind of my own category. I know not really many award shows have this as a category, but I don't care. I'm a fucking nerd. So, best superhero movie. Now, there's been a good few that have come out this year. There was Fantastic Four that came out. Fantastic Four was really good. There was Thunderbolts, which was also really good. Love the Thunderbolts. Florence Pugh did great in that movie. David Harbour, all of them did great. But there's just one superhero movie that stands head and shoulders above all the rest. And the best superhero movie of the year is Superman.
Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. I see you stagger in the street, and you can't stay on your feet, and you're faking in your sleep.
Now, I cannot get into this without just saying this is the best on-screen depiction of Superman I think I've ever seen. Now, I'm not going to be one of the people who said I went and I watched the old ones with Christopher Reeves, because I haven't watched them. But from the ones that I have seen, incredible. Like, I always hated the, sorry to the Zack Snyder cronies out there, but I hated the Snyderverse. Like, I hated almost everything about the Snyderverse, especially when it came to Superman. I didn't think that was Superman at all. I think that was just someone with Superman's powers that they called Superman. Like, it wasn't it at all. He constantly just tried to make him like this huge Christ-like figure, and it didn't work for me. But James Gunn, man, he just knows his characters. He made Superman in this movie a symbol of hope for people, which is what he's supposed to be. The fucking big blue, the big Boy Scout. That's what he's supposed to be. In this movie, you felt that. You felt just the hope that he brought to you. You felt every single action that he did in this movie, right? And just having that incredible contrast between him and Lex in this movie, played by Nicholas Hoult. And Nicholas Hoult did an incredible Lex Luthor, right? Just that straight up, petty, scummy, I hate you because I hate you. Like, I hate everything you stand for type villain. Because they're opposites, and they're opposite soulmates is the way I like to put it. And just the plot of the movie of Superman trying to, figure out like what's the best way possible to get through all this conflict, like what's the most humane way, always being the good guy no matter what. He doesn't want random people getting killed. He doesn't like the fact that even the Justice Gang tries to kill the kaiju monster that's attacking instead of saving it. There's a scene where he saves a fucking squirrel from being crushed with shit, and everybody's talking about it, but come on, that's fucking Superman, dude. And even without talking about Superman and the plot of the movie, like just the side characters, Lois Lane was incredible in this movie. Mr. Terrific was awesome in this movie. Even Guy Gardner, fucking Green Lantern, I liked him. Hawk Girl too, and I'm not even big on any of those characters. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, before the movie came out, I knew of Green Lantern, I knew of Hawk Girl, was kind of cool with Green Lantern, didn't know much about Hawk Girl, but I knew of her. And then Mr. Terrific, I didn't even know who that was. And the fact that now they are some of my favorite characters that I've seen strictly because of this adaptation of those characters is incredible. And it goes to show how good these characters are and how good of a director James Gunn is in making these not so known characters into these incredible characters. And I can't sing the praises about this enough. I went and saw it like 2 or 3 times in theaters. The first time I saw it, whenever it played the end and it said, show him the video or the recording of his dad, it makes him happy. And it showed that after it came out that Kal-El's parents were actually wanting him to come down and rule Earth when he landed, and it shows his, Ma and Pa Kent. It shows them as his parents. That's who he considers his parents and his guiding light, as you can say. And just that scene at the end of him watching that goofy ass smile on his face, man, I'm not gonna lie, I shed a tear or two. It was incredible, man. And I also share an experience with another one of my friends, who I'm not gonna name, but you know who you are. He also was telling me about his experience watching Superman, and he just could not believe how good it was. He couldn't believe the hope that it filled him with. Like, it genuinely made him want, like, and this is a consensus, like it seems to be for a lot of people who have watched this movie, just a sign or a glimpse of hope. Be the good person. Like, there's so many people that I've seen post about this movie that's just like, be the good person. What would Superman want you to do? That kind of stuff. And you don't see that, like, superhero movies really having that effect on people. Like, not even most movies, but you don't, especially superhero movies, because, you know, most of the time it's just find the bad guy, beat the bad guy, save the day. No, in this one, he genuinely gives you hope. Like, he makes you want to be a good person. And that's what Superman is supposed to do. And I can't sing the praises anymore. I'm kind of going in circles here. But man, if you haven't watched it, watch Superman. It's so good. Now we're on to another category that isn't superhero or animated. And it is actually best horror movie of the year. I'm a big horror movie guy. I love horror. I love horror movies. I love horror games, horror books, comics, everything. I love getting scared. You know what I mean? And I love having that feeling of uneasiness and not understanding what's going to happen next. And man, it was between a couple of choices. It was between The Winner and Black Phone 2. Black Phone 2 was great. I really did enjoy it. And also, you can't, it came out a bit too late for me, and obviously it is kind of just like a fan film, like really only the fans are going to enjoy it. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, I've seen it twice. It's a fun movie, all right? It's a fun movie. All the critics on Rotten Tomatoes who rated it like an 18 through the critic rating, do you have no joy? Are you a joyless individual? I'm genuinely convinced they are watching these movies like Five Nights at Freddy's like how they would watch Oppenheimer. They're just sitting there analyzing every frame like... But no, enough of that little rant. The best horror movie of 2025 for me is Weapons. Now, Weapons is an interesting case. It is very, very different from any other type of horror movie that I've really seen as of recent times. It is classified as horror mystery because you don't really understand what's going on with these kids in the movie, because the basic plot, like the simplest synopsis I can give. Randomly one day there's this teacher, she has a whole class of people, and there's this one kid in the class that, you know, is kind of an awkward kid. He goes home one day, they say their Aunt Gladys is coming to stay and live with them because she's sick. And he doesn't really know Aunt Gladys that much, but she comes in and you can tell she's doing some weird shit, right? Like you can tell immediately off the rip that she kind of is a bit of the cause of this once they show her on screen as to what happened to these kids. Randomly one night, this whole class of kids, except for Aunt Gladys's nephew, just disappears. They all leave their house at, like, I think it was 2 or 3 in the morning, and they just all run outside their house with their hands to their side and just run to the same spot, and no one knows where the fuck they went, right? And everyone starts to think in the community that Julia Garner's character, Justine, the teacher, is the one who was caused for these disappearances when she isn't. And I love the way that they shot this movie. They go through different perspectives of the movie that all lead together and interlink, and it just shows everything. Like, at first it's Justine's POV, the teacher, what happened in the few days leading up to the main plot that occurs. It's Josh Brolin's character, Archer. It shows his POV of what led up to these events until they interlink. And then there was Benedict Wong's character, Marcus. It shows his POV a little bit. It also shows this homeless guy's POV and how they all interlink and what happens to lead to this point. And just the climax of figuring everything out and the tension that you feel within that house, because Gladys is able to control people through this witchcraft, and she's able to make the parents like act and want to harm their son, like push the bounds of creepiness in this movie. Like, the son has to feed his parents to keep them alive because they're in like a catatonic state because of Gladys and the like spell or possession she put on her. And she is just such an evil and intimidating villain, man. I have no words for it. Like, the scene of her going to Marcus's house with him and his boyfriend and just walking in and doing her little spell thing with his hair, wrapping it around and doing that, and just seeing and snapping it. And within that moment of the snap, Marcus goes absolutely feral and just literally starts killing his husband and goes on a manhunt for Justine, the teacher. And it is just insane. I can't recommend it enough. It is really good, and if you haven't seen it, I would watch it if you're into horror mysteries. It is incredible. But yes, best horror movie of the year, Weapons. And now we have our 2 legacy awards. First up is best legacy series, and I'm not gonna lie, there wasn't any comp for this. There was only one choice that I can make for this, and the best legacy series for me was The Penguin. But yes, whenever the Batman came out in, I think it was 2022, Robert Pattinson's Batman, I could not stop singing its praises. Like, honestly, probably my favorite adaptation of Batman. In my opinion, it beats out the Dark Knight, the Christopher Nolan movies, okay? I know that's kind of a hot take. I love this Batman. I love the dark noir gruel aspect of it. Like, the roughness of it all, you know what I mean? Like, I love that it shows him actually being a detective and not just beating people up. I love that it shows his deduction skills in crime scenes. I love like the whole ARG that they did with the Riddler, with El Radalada, all that stuff. It was incredible. And when I heard there was a Penguin series coming out, don't get me wrong, I was stoked for it, but I just never got around to watching it. And man, this year I finally put some time aside and watched it. And from the first episode, I knew I regretted not watching it when it first came out. It is incredible. I never thought that I would care or enjoy a series about the Penguin this much, but here we are. Colin Farrell just embraces and encapsulates this character. He is Penguin on screen. Like, just the way he talks, the way he walks. Shout out Kendrick. But just all that stuff, the way he holds himself, the way he acts in this movie is how you would expect someone like the Penguin to act, you know, kind of like a current old day New York gangster mobster type of guy. He sells the vibe so well. He doesn't care for others. He has like no empathy. You disrespect him, he's going to show you why you shouldn't do that. He's always going to find a way to get out of the situation that he's in. And just the whole continuation of this plot of Gotham without Batman in the mix. Like, the fact that Michael Reeves is able to make this universe so detailed and encapsulating just is a testament to how good this show is. He in the first episode, he kills the new leader of the Falcone drug empire, Alberto, Carmine's son. He kills him because he disrespected him. And then he goes outside to try and cover it up, and he sees this group of kids trying to, you know, jack his wheels, like take the wheels off of his car. And he ends up keeping one of them named Vic, and he becomes like his partner throughout the whole series, right? He sees Vic kind of like how he saw himself when he was younger. He just needed to be shown the way in this industry and to make money and make a name for himself. Just the connection that they develop between the series of initially Penguin just being like, yeah, I'm just holding you captive and I'm gonna get you to do some stuff for me and then I'm gonna kill you, to actually being like, I love you, Vic. You're family with me. We're family here. And then at the very end, unfortunately, with all the plots that, you know, I'm not going to spoil everything because go watch the show yourself, but just at the end when it shows all of everything coming to a climax and the unfortunate way that their connection has to come to an end is just incredible. I was silent like the last 30 minutes of the final episode. If you haven't watched it, please go do yourself a service and watch The Penguin. It is incredible. And honestly, I'm kind of glad I watched it when I did, because now I'm at an all-time hype for the Batman 2. I'm stoked. But yes, best legacy series for me this year was The Penguin. And now on to the best legacy movie of the year. And this one is a bit of an old one. It was from 2018. I never heard of it until this year. And I saw some clips about it and I was like, you know, this seems like something I would somewhat be interested in. And I'm not gonna lie to you, don't watch this if you're not in a good state of mind. It is a very kind of sad movie. And it did make me shed a tear or two. But if you do like somewhat sad movies and you're not in a terrible state of mind, I would watch this. But the best legacy movie this year is Beautiful Boy.
The monster's gone, he's on the run, and your daddy's here. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Before you
Now, Beautiful Boy is a movie about this father and son, the father played by Steve Carell and the son played by Timothy Chalamet. And I think that this was one of Timothy Chalamet's earliest roles, at least the earliest thing I've seen him in. Like, just this whole movie, like just the tension that it built up, because it starts out, it shows, you know, Nick, which is the son, Timothy Chalamet. He's just a normal kid. He likes, him and his dad love each other. He's trying to follow in his dad's footsteps, be a writer like him. But then unfortunately, he gets down the drug rabbit hole and he starts doing drugs really bad and he gets addicted to it really bad. And it shows the effects that has on a relationship within a family, like especially between the father and son connection, because Steve Carell, the dad, he tries his hardest. He does everything to help Nick. Like, he wants his son to be clean so bad. He does everything he can, checks in with him, helps him out, gets him into rehab, all this stuff. But Nick just isn't having any of it. He wants to just go out and do whatever he wants. He wants to go out and do drugs. He's a completely different person when he's on the drugs, and he doesn't see rationality, which is just very normal, you know, for a lot of people who get onto this type of stuff. It really is just heart-wrenching and gut-wrenching to see the strain on their relationship and just it crumbling actively in front of you. And then, you know, you get some hope within the movie. You get some hope that maybe everything's going to be okay, because he goes into rehab and he gets sober for a little over a year. And you're like, okay, he's finally making these strides. And then it shows him, like, he goes back to his family's home while I think it said it was like 400 or so days sober. He goes back there, has a great time, it seems. And it seems like everything's back to normal. But then when he's driving back to San Francisco, he takes a moment and he's crying in the car, and he pulls out and he calls his sponsor and he's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm tired. I don't want to live in this world anymore. Like, just the withdrawal he's having from these drugs literally makes him not want to live. And his sponsor tries to do everything in his power to be like, don't do that. That's your disease talking. But he goes and he's hanging outside of a bar. He's smoking and he's drinking. And this woman that he knows, I guess from school, named Lauren, comes out and they end up getting high. He ends up relapsing. And it is such a downward spiral from that moment on. He relapses really hard. He becomes that asshole again. Nobody can connect to him. Nobody can call him or reach him. He practically goes missing again. He comes back home to try and get some stuff from his house. He literally breaks into his parents' house while they're not there, runs away from them when they get there, and they literally chase him. They chase him, or the wife chases him, like, down the street with their car, but he gets away from him. And then it also shows his girlfriend, that girl from school that he met, that he relapsed with, having like just ODing. Like, it shows the girl that he met ODing, like, and he has to call the hospital. And once they get there, the ambulance says she needs to go to the hospital. He's like, they don't want it. The girl and Nick don't want to go to the hospital, but they say she has to. And he's like, fuck. And then Lauren goes, I'm scared. Are you going to come see me in the hospital? And he gets mad at her. He's like, yes, fuck. What do you want from me? Like, just the drugs absolutely talking through him. And man, I got really scared at the end. I you know, in my head, I was thinking, okay, maybe this will end up having a good ending. Maybe it will be a bad ending. I wasn't sure. I was hoping it would have a good ending. But near the end of the movie, he tries to call his dad and he tries to say, I need your help, man. I just no rehab. I can't do this. I'm scared. I need to come home. But Steve Carell, David, he tells him, that's not going to happen, man. I've done everything I can to help you. I can't do anything else. Like, you got to sort yourself out. And it crushes him. It shows Dave, after he hangs up, he just starts sobbing to himself because he wants to help his son. He does, and he feels terrible that he can't. And then the actual mom of Nick, the ex-wife of David, she tries to call him and says, I can't find him. He needs help. You need to help me. And he's like, I can't do anything. I've tried everything I can. And then it cuts to Nick in this little diner that him and his dad would meet at, just face down on the table, just scribbling in a book. And he goes to the bathroom and he just injects himself with, I can't say what on YouTube, but he injects himself with it and he ODs in the bathroom. And at this moment, that's when I kind of started shedding a tear, because it was gut-wrenching seeing this young kid like in a bathroom at an all-time low, inject himself with something and just actively OD and looked like he died. Like I thought he was dead. I thought that was going to be the end of the movie, but luckily he does. It turns out he lives, he makes it through. And the last shot of this movie is when they go into the hospital, and when David goes into the hospital, meets his ex-wife there, and they talk about the situation of what happened. Is he okay? It's borderline a miracle. He's alive with all the drugs in his system. And then it cuts to the last shot of the movie being David and Nick sitting in these two chairs side by side, no words spoken, and Nick just starts sobbing. And David just consoles him because Nick now understands that he will die if he keeps doing this. And then it shows at the end, I didn't know this, that it was based off of a true story, and it was saying, you know, Nick, the real life person, is now 8 years sober. There's always ways to get over this stuff, and it's a real, pun intended here, beautiful movie. If I would have saw this back in 2018, I would have known that Timothée Chalamet would definitely be as big as he is now. But if you're in the right headspace and you kind of like some movies of this caliber, you know, sad movies, I'd definitely give it a watch. But if you're not in a good headspace, I wouldn't watch it. But yes, Beautiful Boy, legacy movie of the year. And now we are on to the last three awards, being Best Actor, Actress, and Movie of the Year. We're saving Movie of the Year till last, and we'll start with Best Actor. But this year, there really wasn't much competition for me when it came to this. As soon as I thought of doing this category, I knew who I was putting in. And the Best Actor 2025 is Michael B. Jordan. I mean, come on.
I've been all over this world. I seen men die in ways I ain't even know was possible. With all the things that I seen, I ain't ever seen no demons, no ghosts. Hey, brother, be careful. I will.
Like, just his whole performance in Sinners was incredible. The fact that he was able to play two different characters, twin brothers, at the same time, make them so different, make them obviously individual from the other. Like, there's no overlap. They're complete polar opposites pretty much, but they're brothers. But yes, just the difference in character he's able to portray. Like, whenever he plays Smoke and he's this calm, collected, no bullshit guy. He's always calm. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's gonna do. He knows what he's about. But he'll sort shit out if he has to. And then when he plays Stack, when he's like this hard-ass, overconfident type of guy, like that one scene where he was Stack, where he went to the fields and he went and met Cornbread, and he was like, I got a deal for you, Cornbread. And he's like, yeah, I haven't meet my quota. He's like, fuck your quota. What'd you say? And he's like, well, that's my wife here now. And he's like, man, fuck your wife. She gonna love how much money you be making. Like, just that scene in general is incredible. And God, just the connection he's able to show between these two brothers without, you know, being able to be with the other one on screen is incredible. Just the chops that he shows in this movie. Everybody knew before this movie Michael B. Jordan was one of the best actors in Hollywood, but this movie really just, like, his performance in Sinners really just showed the level that he's on. Like, I genuinely don't know another another actor that would be able to do what Michael B. Jordan did in this movie and do it to the same extent. Like, it would not be right if it wasn't him. And just his performance pulling double time within Sinners is the reason why he wins Best Actor of 2025. Now on to Best Actress of 2025, and that would just so happen to be Miss Emily Blunt.
Stop! Get your fucking hands off me, Mark! Get your fucking hands off me, Mark! I wasn't gonna do anything! I was just pretending, Mark. I promise. You fucking I fucking hate you, Mark! I'm wasting my whole fucking life on you! Look what you do to me! Oh my God!
They wind up wounded.
Get your fucking hands off me, Mark!
Now, Emily Blunt, I talked about her a little bit. She played Dawn in The Smashing Machine with The Rock earlier, but obviously The Rock is the main character in that movie, but I just think Emily Blunt as Dawn steals the show. She acted her ass off in this movie. Just the emotion she conveys, how she hides it, how subtle it is, to the explosive moments where she's screaming and yelling, and there's literally a scene in the movie where she's just had enough and she gets a gun and she is planning to off herself. And just the stress you feel in that moment and the emotion that she can invoke within you to where you can't take your eyes off the screen. You can't, because you feel like you're gonna miss something huge if you do. She steals the show when she's on the screen. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that because she takes anything away from The Rock, but man, whenever she is on the screen, she steals it. Like, she is the main attraction of the scene, and I can't give her enough credit for that. Like, being in a position where you're able to make someone like The Rock, who a lot of the times is very stale and very samey with his acting outside of this movie, have such a good performance with him, man, it is incredible. But you got to give the shout outs to Emily Blunt where it's due, and that's why she is Best Actress of the Year. And now, last but not least, we are on to Best Movie of 2025. And you know, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who doesn't believe this, but the best movie of the year is Sinners.
It wasn't forced on us like that religion. No, sir. We brought this with us from home. It's magic what we do. It's sacred. And big.
There are legends of people born with the gift of making music so true it can pierce the veil between life and death, conjuring spirits from the past and the future.
Somebody take me in your arms tonight. Somebody take me.
Now, Sinners, I can't even describe how good this movie is. Everything that can be said about this movie has already been said within the multitude of reviews and your own personal viewpoints. But what I can say about this movie, it's honestly a generational movie. The fact that all of the actors in this movie are perfect. There's not a single one that I would recast. Everyone plays their role to perfection. From the Smokestack Twins with Michael B. Jordan to Miles Canton as Sammy, which, by the way, I know everybody has said this, but dude, his first acting appearance in this movie and he's this good, fucking love that guy. Miles Canton did great. Haley Steinfeld is Mary, even down to Delta Slim. Shout out, matter of fact, just so I don't disrespect you because you're goated, let me look up your name real quick. Yeah, shout out to Delroy Lindo. Like, even your performance as Delta Slim was incredible. Honestly, he was probably my favorite character in the movie. It was either between him or Smoke, I can't lie. Just everything about this movie, from the actors, Remick, to the plots, the vampires, the whole build-up, it was perfect. The pacing was perfect, and it's basically just about this guy named Sammy Moore. He's living on a plantation, and his dad wants him to be a pastor like how he is. He wants him to follow in his footsteps, and Sammy, he just wants to be a blues man. He wants to go out and he wants to play the blues around the country. That's what he wants to do. And his dad is like, you're basically going out in front of all these drunkards, doing all this sinning, playing music for him. And the main quote in this movie is, if you keep going out, the devil will follow you home. And I just the symbolism that has and the foreshadowing it has, you know. And then we get the Smokestack Twins, who come back from mobbing with Capone up in Chicago. They're wanting to open their own juke joint, you know, be a beacon of hope for their community. No, when they finally get the juke joint set up and everything like that, everything is fine. And then it's revealed, you know, it shows Sammy's abilities as a griot, which is described earlier in the movie as someone who, through music, is able to conjure the spirits of the past, the present, and the future all together from one culture. And he starts doing his little blues method, and one of the best scenes I've ever seen with symbolism in a movie was the scene in the juke joint where he starts singing Traveling, and it shows all the different forms of not just black culture, because of the chews that are in there, Asian culture as well. Like, it just shows it is a love letter to multiple different forms of culture, past or present. And my mouth was dropped that one long take when I first saw it. I've watched this movie like 5 or 6 times this year, but I can never get over when I first saw that long take of going through the juke joint and the remix of the music that was playing from the DJ that was there, like from the future in spirit form, you know. And then it cuts to Remick seeing this, and Remick is the main antagonist, the vampire of the movie, and he wants to turn Sammy specifically, because they say in this movie, when you're a vampire, you cannot reconnect with the ancestors. You're stuck here. And that's why he wants Sammy. He wants Sammy to be able to reconnect with his ancestors. And I can't give it its flowers enough. I can't express my gratitude for this movie. Ryan Coogler, he killed it again as the director. Like all like the scenes, the timepiece, everything about this movie was incredible. And if you somehow have not seen it yet, watch it. Like, this is the one movie or show on this list where I'm like, it doesn't matter what you're into, what you like, watch this movie. You will love it. And that is why Sinners is the best movie of 2025. And that's it. That is it for the Marvel Movie Awards 2025. I appreciate all you guys watching. If you made it this far through, I don't know, type egg or something if you made it all this way through. Put that in the comments. But chat, I do appreciate you guys watching this with me. It is a very different type of video. I haven't really made any movie related content, but I love movies. I love shows. I'm a big nerd. So if you do like this, let me know in the comments down below. I might make some more movie reviews or something like that. But I appreciate you guys watching this, having a good time with me, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, boys. Bye.
Just made an album 7 days, that's quick.